Everything in Heartland Season 19 has been building toward this moment, and Episode 10 wastes no time reminding us that even after 19 seasons, this family can still break our hearts, heal them, and surprise us all in one final swing. The finale opens with a calmness that feels almost too perfect, the kind of quiet that tells you something big is coming, and before long. That feeling proves true because the choices made in this episode change the future of the ranch. The people who love it and the relationships that have weathered so many storms. If you think you're ready for the emotional weight of this finale, think again, because what happens here marks a turning point none of us saw coming. Season 19 has been a steady climb of emotional tension, pushing each character to face something they've been avoiding for far too long. And by the time we reach Episode 10, all those struggles start connecting like pieces of a much larger puzzle. Amy has spent most of the season trying to balance her natural gift with horses and the expectations placed on her by everyone around her. She wants to grow but also stay true to where she came from, and this season constantly tests that balance. It feels as if every new challenge is pushing her toward a decision she doesn't want to make yet. And when the finale begins, you can sense something shifting inside her, something that tells us she is no longer afraid to step into a new chapter, even if it means letting go of parts of her past. Jack, on the other hand, has carried the emotional weight of being the anchor of the family. He has always been the steady hand guiding everyone through chaos. But Season 19 forces him to face his own fierce fears of aging, of losing control, of watching the people he loves take risks he can't protect them from. Throughout the season, his internal struggle has been subtle but powerful. Every scene hints that he is preparing for some kind of transition, even if he hasn't said it out loud. And by the finale, those small moments come together in a way that makes his quiet pain impossible to ignore. Lou's journey this season has been filled with pressure from every direction: leadership responsibility, ties, family demands, and personal doubts. She often tries to hold everything together, even when she has nothing left to give. Season 19 shows us a different side of her, a side that questions whether success truly matters if it comes at the cost of her own peace. And in the final episode, her storyline reaches a point where she must choose between pushing forward or finally slowing down to breathe. That choice becomes one of the emotional pillars of the finale. Then there is Tim, strong-willed, protective, and often stubborn to a fault. Season 19 challenges him with situations that force him to rethink how he supports his family. He tries to fix problems with force or quick solutions. But this season teaches him that not everything can be controlled. In the finale, this becomes clearer than ever as he faces a moment that pushes him to reflect instead of react. His character growth is not loud or dramatic, but it is meaningful. And Episode 10 highlights the change with careful emotional detail. By the time all these storylines collide in the finale, the entire Heartland family stands at a crossroads. Each of them carries emotional baggage from earlier in the season: unspoken worries, unresolved conflicts, hopes they've tried to hide, and fears they've tried to ignore. Episode 10 finally brings all of that to the surface. It doesn't rush, it doesn't force drama, but it lets each character reach a point where honesty becomes unavoidable. And that's what makes this finale so powerful. It's not about big twists. It's about the truth finally catching up with everyone. Episode 10 begins with a strange heaviness hanging over the ranch. The kind that doesn't come from a single problem, but from weeks of worries building on top of each other. Everything looks normal on the surface, yet you can feel a tension underneath, something waiting to come loose. Amy is the first to sense it. She starts her day like she always does, but her mind is somewhere else, caught between the life she has built and the new opportunities that keep pulling at her. Throughout the episode, she struggles to decide whether she should push forward into a new chapter or stay rooted in the comfort of the ranch. Every conversation she has carries a hidden meaning, as if she's trying to prepare herself for a choice that will change more than just her own future. As the story moves forward, One of the horses becomes a symbol of everything the family is. Dealing with, it arrives at the ranch nervous, hard to understand, and full of emotion it doesn't know how to show. Amy sees parts of herself in the horse. And working with it forces her to confront fears she has pushed aside all season. The more she helps the horse, the more she realizes she has been avoiding her own healing. This quiet connection becomes one of the most important threads of the finale, guiding her toward a moment of clarity she has needed for a long time. Meanwhile, Lou faces her own storm. A decision she has been delaying finally demands her full attention. She has spent the entire season trying to balance her responsibilities, her ambitions, and her relationships. But episode 10 shows the cracks forming under the pressure. She can't keep pretending everything is fine. A conversation with a family member brings her breaking point into the light. For the first time in a while, she admits she is exhausted. This honesty becomes a turning point not just for her but for everyone who has leaned on her strength. It reminds the family that even the most capable person can only carry so much. Tim's storyline in the finale takes a quieter path, but it's just as impactful. He has always been the one trying to take control, to fix problems by force or willpower alone. But episode 10 pushes him into a situation where he has to step back, and listen. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, he chooses patience, a rare shift for him. This change may not be loud, but it shows real growth, hinting that Tim is finally learning to let go of the past mistakes that have shaped him for so long. Then there is Jack, the emotional backbone of Heartland. Throughout the episode, he carries a look that feels both proud and worried. He watches his family make choices he knows he cannot protect them from. There is a moment where he quietly reflects on how much the ranch has changed and how much he has changed with it. It feels like he is preparing himself for something, maybe a shift in responsibility, maybe a new role in the family, or maybe just the acceptance that life keeps moving whether we're ready or not. His presence in the episode is steady but filled with unspoken emotion. As the episode nears its midpoint, everything that has been held inside finally starts pressing outward. Tension builds between characters who have avoided being honest with each other. Old disagreements rise again, not to create chaos, but to bring hidden truths into the open. The ranch, usually a place of safety, becomes a place where no one can run from the decisions they need to make. Every storyline begins to push toward one shared idea. This family cannot grow without facing what they've been avoiding. By the time the episode reaches its biggest emotional moment, it becomes clear that episode 10 is not about sudden drama or shocking twists. It's about emotional honesty, the kind that comes from finally admitting what hurts, what scares you, and what you want your future to look like. The ranch, the horses, the relationships, all of it becomes a backdrop for the characters confronting themselves. And each choice made in this episode sets the stage for the finale resolution that follows, shaping the path toward whatever awaits in season 20. The real turning point of episode 10 arrives quietly at first, almost hidden beneath everyday moments. But suddenly everything shifts at once. It begins with a conversation that should have been simple, yet it becomes the spark that pulls every buried emotion to the surface. Amy finally reaches the point she has been trying to avoid all season. She admits, more to herself than to anyone else, that she has been holding back. Not because she lacks the skill or courage, but because moving forward feels like she might lose the last pieces of a past she still treasures. This moment is powerful because it doesn't come with shouting or dramatic music. It comes with honesty, and in Heartland, honesty is often the most intense force of all. Her realization becomes the emotional center of the climax, pushing her to choose between staying safe or stepping into a future that scares her but also calls to her. At the same time, Jack faces his own emotional peak. He watches Amy struggle with making a life-changing decision, and it brings him face to face with his deepest fear, the fear of no longer being the one who guides her. For years, he has been her anchor, her protector, and her steady voice of reason. But now, he understands that she is ready to stand on her own, and accepting that truth hurts more than he expected. His quiet reflection, filled with memories of their journey together, becomes one of the most moving moments of the episode. It's a reminder that growth doesn't only happen to the young, it challenges the older generation too, forcing them to let go with love instead of holding on out of fear. Lou's climax comes with a moment of complete exhaustion. She finally breaks through the pressure she has been drowning in all season. She sits down, breathes, and tells the truth she has been hiding even from herself, that she can't keep trying to be everything for everyone. Admitting this doesn't make her weak, it shows her strength. It becomes the moment she discovers what she actually wants, not what she thinks she is supposed to want. Tim's breakthrough is quieter, but equally important. He comes face to face with a situation that forces him to step back and see how his temper and protective nature sometimes push people away instead of keeping them safe. For the first time in a long time, he doesn't jump to conclusions or try to force a solution. Instead, he listens. This single act becomes a turning point for him, showing the audience that even the most stubborn characters are capable of real change. His growth doesn't erase his flaws, but it softens them, making him more human, more vulnerable, and more connected to the people he loves. When the emotional stories of all four characters meet, the finale forms a single, powerful message. Healing comes from facing the truths we are afraid to speak. Amy's decision about her future lands at the center of the final act. She chooses a path that honors her past but doesn't trap her in it. It's a decision filled with courage, shaped by everything she has learned this season. This choice becomes the heart of the ending, proof that she is ready for the next phase of her life, whatever it brings. The final scenes tie the emotional threads together with a reminder of what Heartland has always been about: family, growth, and the courage to keep moving forward even when the road isn't clear. Nothing explodes, nothing falls apart, yet everything changes in a gentle but powerful way. The ranch feels different by the end of the episode, not because it has changed physically, but because the people living on it have. Each character steps into the closing moments with a clearer sense of who they are and what they want, leaving viewers with a quiet but deep feeling that a new chapter has begun. As the finale settles into its last moments, episode 10 becomes less about ending a story and more about opening new doors. Even though the characters reach personal turning points, nothing feels completely resolved. And that is exactly what makes the setup for season 20 so strong. The writers leave just enough unanswered questions to spark curiosity without creating confusion. Every storyline feels like it has reached a pause, not a full stop, and each pause carries the weight of something bigger coming. Amy's choice near the end of the episode doesn't give us the full picture of what her future will look like, but it clearly places her at the beginning of a new personal journey. The way she stands firm in her decision hints at fresh challenges, maybe new partnerships, or even a shift in how she relates to the ranch. Her growth this season suggests she may take on responsibilities that push her further than she has ever gone before, both as a trainer and as a person. Jack's subtle emotional shift also points toward a deeper arc ahead. The finale closes with him in a thoughtful and somewhat vulnerable place, showing cracks in the armor he has carried for decades. This quiet opening in his character leaves room for season 20 to explore themes of legacy, aging, and letting go. The ranch has always depended on Jack's wisdom, but his reflective state hints that someone else might soon need to step up and take on more leadership. Whether he is preparing to pass down responsibilities or simply learning to accept change, his storyline feels like it is slowly moving toward a major moment of transition. This could become one of the emotional anchors of the next season. Lou's shift is perhaps the most noticeable of all. Season 19 ends with her facing a truth she can no longer ignore. She must prioritize her mental and emotional well-being. That single decision sends ripples into her future. Season 20 could easily explore how she rebuilds her life with healthier boundaries and a clearer sense of purpose. Will she step back from her responsibilities? Will she chase a dream she has pushed aside for too long? The finale doesn't answer those questions, but it gives us just enough to imagine Lu entering a season of reinvention. Her arc feels ready to move in a direction that focuses on balance rather than pressure, allowing her to grow in ways we haven't seen before. Tim's softer, more reflective ending also hints at new developments. His change doesn't erase his flaws, but it shows that he is willing to try a different approach to life. That simple shift opens the door for season 20 to explore parts of Tim's character that have stayed hidden: his fears, his regrets, and perhaps even old relationships that need mending. The finale leaves a small but clear suggestion that Tim may face challenges next season that test this new version of himself, whether it's family conflict, personal accountability, or something unexpected. He seems more prepared now than ever, before to face it with maturity instead of force. What makes the setup for season 20 so compelling is how naturally it grows from the characters' choices. The writers don't use dramatic cliffhangers or forced twists. Instead, they let the emotional journeys guide the direction of the story. The ranch itself becomes part of the future narrative. There's a sense that the land, the horses, and the legacy are evolving along with the people. This opens space for new characters, fresh conflicts, and storylines that can deepen the history of Heartland without losing the spirit that fans love. By the final moments of episode 10, viewers are left with a feeling of calm anticipation. You sense that something new is coming, something built on the emotional groundwork laid throughout season 19. The family is stepping into a chapter filled with unknowns, but also hope. Instead of ending with fear or loss, the finale closes with possibility. Every character stands on the edge of their next big step, and that shared momentum becomes the heartbeat of season 20's setup. It promises growth, healing, and the kind of heartfelt storytelling that keeps Heartland alive after so many seasons. As season 19 episode 10 comes to an end, what stays with the viewer is not a single dramatic moment, but the way every emotion settles quietly into place. Heartland has always been a show built on slow, steady storytelling, where growth happens in soft steps rather than giant leaps. The finale captures that spirit perfectly. Instead of rushing towards shocking twists or forcing big revelations, it lets each character breathe, allowing their journeys to unfold in a way that feels honest and deeply connected to the world they live in. This gentle pace makes the emotional payoff even stronger because nothing feels fake or exaggerated. It feels real, like life unfolding naturally with all its small fears, quiet victories, and tender truths. One of the most powerful things about the finale is how it reminds viewers that healing is not a straight path. Amy's emotional journey shows that even when someone looks strong on the outside, they can still be fighting private battles within themselves. Her growth this season is not about becoming fearless, but about understanding her fears and choosing not to let them control her. The finale captures this beautifully. Her decision is not presented as a triumphant ending, but as a beginning, a step forward into a future she is finally ready to explore. This subtle transformation makes her more relatable and human, reminding viewers that moving on is a brave act, even when it feels uncertain. Jack's presence throughout the season, and especially in the finale, brings a tender reminder of how time shapes us. He may not speak his deepest feelings out loud, but every look, every pause, and every quiet moment hints at the weight he carries. His reflections in episode 10 show how deeply he loves his family and how hard it is for him to watch them grow up and grow apart in their own ways. Yet, instead of resisting change, he chooses acceptance. This choice gives his character a sense of wisdom that goes beyond words. It is a reminder that letting go is not losing, it is trusting. It is believing that the people you love will find their way. Even if the road looks different from what you imagined, Lu's journey adds another layer of meaning to the finale. Her struggle this season touches on something many viewers understand: the pressure of trying to be everything for everyone. The finale gives her a moment of truth, allowing her to finally admit that she cannot carry every burden without losing herself. This vulnerability does not make her weak. It makes her real. It opens the door to a version of Lou who seeks balance, joy, and inner peace, things she often pushes aside to fulfill expectations. Her arc reminds us that strength is not measured by how much we can endure, but by how willing we are to take care of ourselves before everything falls apart. Tim's quiet transformation offers a beautiful contrast to his past behavior. He has always been a man who reacts first and reflects later, but this finale reveals a softer side of him. Instead of forcing control, he learns to understand. Instead of fighting every challenge, he learns to trust the process. This subtle shift shows that even the most stubborn hearts can change when they finally confront what has been holding them back. His growth feels earned, honest, and full of potential for the future. What ties all these emotional threads together is the ranch itself, a timeless symbol of home, family, and belonging. Even as the characters evolve, the ranch remains a grounding force, reminding them of where they come from and who they are. It represents stability in the middle of change, a constant source of comfort as the world around them shifts. The finale captures this beautifully, giving viewers a final image that feels calm, hopeful, and full of promise. In the end, Heartland Season 19 finale succeeds not because of flashy moments, but because of the way it makes viewers feel. It leaves you thinking about the quiet conversations, the hidden emotions, and the choices that shape the characters' futures. It leaves you with a sense of warmth and possibility.